because I know that we have the vision to turn the economy around, create millions of jobs, and you have my guarantee. I will not rest until we repeal Obamacare. We can do better. Ronald Reagan had a vision of limited government. That's what our founders gave to us. We are a constitutional republic, and we're proud of our constitutional republic. Because of his vision, he was able to do the impossible. After Jimmy Carter did a number on our economy, Ronald Reagan came in with a completely different vision. You see, there are two visions of our Constitution. One is the real version of the Constitution, which is a limited government with enumerated powers. The other one is an expansive view. The man who served longer for president than any other was a Democrat named Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And he said this, he said to live under the United States Constitution is the United States Constitution is the most marvelously elastic compilation of rules of government ever written. Is that what our Constitution is? Not at all. What we have is a limited view, and Calvin Coolidge had a very different view. He said it's the greatest political privilege that's ever been accorded to the human race to live under the American Constitution. That's my view, too. In fact, George Washington said in his farewell address that the person who occupies the White House is given a trust. He didn't even call it necessarily the presidency. He called it an executive trust. That's what you get to choose here in Florida. You get to choose who you are going to entrust the highest office in the land to take hold of this treasure that was given to us 235 years ago. We are a tremendous nation, unlike any nation that has ever been birthed in the history of mankind. No other nation has given the depth and breadth of freedoms of this nation. And this unparalleled vision that was given to us by our founders, every generation has successfully forged a link from 235 years ago through thick and thin, through wars and trials and recessions and ups and downs. Every generation has faithfully transferred that torch and forged one more link on the chain. Till today, we have been given this magnificent nation. But do you know that for the first time in the history of the United States, parents aren't sure if their children will have the same opportunity that they have? Almost 3 out of 4 Americans today say that. For the first time in American history, that's a level of pessimism that's unparalleled in our nation's history. And it's no wonder when you look at what Barack Obama has done, his signature issue being Obamacare. Obamacare has been the greatest taker of our freedoms of any legislation out there. Because Obamacare covers us from cradle to grave. The federal government has mandates and dictates over our lives from cradle to grave. That's why I was the first member of Congress to introduce the full-scale repeal of Obamacare. And that's why I'm committed, as the nominee of the Republican Party, I won't rest until I can elect 13 more like-minded United States senators, so we have a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate. And I'm thinking on the pattern of a Senator Marco Rubio. What do you think? That's what I want to do. I'm committed to seeing this done. That's what we have to have in our nominee. Someone who has the fire and the will and the vision to do this. Someone who sees what the problems of our nation is, but also sees the potential beauty, the challenges, what we can be. Ronald Reagan told us, he reminded us of what John Winthrop said back in 1630, that we are that shining city on a hill. That is who we are. Greatness is what we were created to be. A majestic nation is what we were meant to be. And a majestic, magnificent, great nation is again what we can embrace if we have that leadership. I know we can. And it isn't just Obamacare, it's also on the issue of immigration. Because what we've seen with President Obama is that he's opened up our borders, not closed our borders. As President of the United States, I will build a fence on our southern border against illegal immigration. And we will not have taxpayer-subsidized benefits for illegal immigrants or for their children. With President Obama, we have seen him subject to crony capitalism. Most recently, in the example of Solyndra. How many of you have heard of Solyndra? This was one of the great benefits of the stimulus program. $535 million to go to a political donor of President Obama, and you can always count on Vice President Joe Biden to tell you the truth. And Vice President Joe Biden said this about the loan guarantee program for Solyndra. He said the stimulus program and Solyndra is exactly what the stimulus program was all about. Greed, graft, and corruption. And now President Obama is proposing a son of stimulus. Stimulus 1 was bad enough. We don't need the sequel. President Obama wants to pay for this by taking away the mortgage tax deduction, taking away the charitable deduction, and taking away the deduction for taxes we pay on state and local government. I'm a former federal tax litigation attorney. I've seen how devastating high taxes are on job creation. I'm a job creator. My husband and I started a successful company from scratch. Small business is a miracle job creation agent of this country, and profit is a good thing. You see, there's a difference in how we view the role of government, and that's why in this particular election, we have to understand something that's extremely important as conservatives. Every 4 years, when we look at the presidential race, we are repeatedly told as conservatives that we have to go stand next to the wall or stand in the back of the room, because in that election we're told we have to give the nomination to a moderate or to a safe candidate. In other words, we're told that we have to settle. Well, I'm here to say to you, I have no doubt in my mind that President Obama now has one of the lowest job approval ratings of any president in modern times, and he hasn't reached the basement yet. His approval ratings are going lower. I have no doubt that President Obama will be a one-term president. No doubt. As a matter of fact, I say get ready, Florida. You need to recruit candidates, and everyone from the dog catcher to the city council to the school board to the state assembly to the Senate, every candidate all the way up to the President of the United States. Find the candidate that most reflects your values, who you believe will actually go to Washington and change Washington and fight for what you believe. If there was any election when we conservatives don't settle, it's this election. This is the election when we can have it all. Don't settle. Have a candidate who's right on Obamacare, who's fought against Obamacare, who gets that it's a job killer, who gets that it's stolen $500 billion out of Medicare, who gets the job-killing aspects. UBS this week said the #1 reason we aren't seeing employers hire people is because of Obamacare. metastasized into the United States fabric. We'll never get rid of it again. So our nominee has to get how you get rid of Obamacare. They have to understand Obamacare, how you get rid of it, and they have to have the political will and the backbone and the courage to do it. And behind this little blue jacket, you need to know there's a titanium spine. So don't settle. Don't settle. We need a constitutional conservative for our nominee. Someone who's not ashamed to be a national security, peace through strength, pro-military conservative. I am. We need to have a strong, no-nonsense fiscal conservative who will stand up against giving Barack Obama a $2.4 trillion blank check and say, have at it. I did. That's what we need in our nominee. And we need a true social conservative who's not ashamed to stand for marriage, who's not ashamed to stand for life, who's not ashamed to stand for religious liberty, and who's demonstrated that. That's what we need in this election. And we need a nominee who's not ashamed of the Tea Party, who's willing to stand up for our Tea Party and Tea Party values, who believes we are taxed enough already, who believes government should not spend more money than what they take in, and who's not ashamed to say that the government should act within the bounds of the Constitution. You see, we don't settle this time. If there's ever been a year that we don't settle and sit next to the wall and go to the back of the bus, we conservatives have to say, no, this is our year. This is our time. And we're going to have our nominee. So let's take this movement. Let's take this voice all the way to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We can have it all. Send a message. Tell the country we're going to send a message through Florida that we are going to have a constitutional conservative, and we are going to